Hello everyone, welcome to Celeb TV News. So we are going to talk about 90 Days Fiancé Season 8 Episode 11. If you're new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe and leave a comment below said that I subscribed so that I can give you a shout out, and thank you to all my new subscribers. I appreciate your support. This episode started with Julia and Brendan driving in a car where Julia is telling Brendan that she wanted to throw up. And Brendan was saying, "Oh, are you pregnant?" And Julia said there's a possibility that she might because she have been sick all morning, throwing up. And Brendan respond was like, "Oh, I think we should tell my parents." Are you serious? Brendan, you don't know yet if she's pregnant? And she even said that she don't think that he should tell his parents because she haven't been tested or anything. Yes, she have been sick, but that doesn't mean that she is pregnant. And Brendan said that the only birth control they've been using or pull out. Are you kidding me? Pull out? Many people get pregnant and pull out. If they are pregnant, that means both of them wanted the baby. Because if you don't want to get pregnant, you would go and take measure like taking real birth control. Not just, oh, I'm gonna pull out. Because anyone can get pregnant and pull out. Brendan, be a man and stop telling your parents all your business because you are not a baby. Brendan went and says that he's good at pulling out. If you're good at pulling out, Julia wouldn't be pregnant. The way it seems like there's a possibility she is pregnant. Brendan went and says, "Oh, if my mom find out that Julia have been getting sick, she's gonna wanna take her to the doctor." Julia is not a baby, and I'm glad that she is standing up for herself. Your mom should butt out from Julia's life, telling her what to do. Julia's not a baby. Even though you are living in your mom's house, that doesn't mean that she should be in all your business. That's why it was a good idea for you and Julia to move out instead of staying in your parents' house, and that you have to tell them everything. They have to dictate everything about your life, and you letting them to. Being a man, stop being a baby. Brendan went and says that he can't afford to raise a baby or to bring up a baby right now. If you couldn't afford a baby, you would use proper birth control instead of pulling out. I don't know, probably your mother doesn't educate you proper on how those things work or how women get pregnant, but pulling out is not a good method of not to get pregnant. Brendan is freaking out saying, "Oh my god, I don't know, it's a nightmare if she's pregnant. That's not how I picture it out." Oh yes, that's how you picture it out because you are the one in charge. If you knew you couldn't have a baby, you should have protect yourself again. So him and Julia should go to the store, get a pregnancy test to find out if they pregnant before they tell their parents. That's how a grown up do. Brendan is a baby. His parents control him, so he have to tell them everything. Brendan did not listen to Julia to wait to tell his parents, but instead he went home, tell his parents that Julia have been throwing up, and you should see the look in Brendan's mom's face. The dad said you should go to the drugstore, get a pregnancy test to know for sure. And you can tell like the look on Brendan's mom was a pissed off look. She is mad from the inside, but she tried to hold it in. I'm sure she is saying in her mind, "I told you so to get into birth control, but you decided not to, and now you are pregnant. You are trying to trap my son." Even Brendan's dad says that he don't think that they should have told them before they got the test, know for sure that they were pregnant. He seems to be more logical than Brendan because he knows there's a possibility it may not be positive. And so them telling the parents to freak out about that was unexpected. So Brendan's mom says, "Well, who they gonna tell? They have to tell us, of course." And yeah, because she brainwashed him to make sure that he's afraid of her so that he can tell her everything. Can you imagine the mother was telling them that, "Oh, you caused so many sleepless nights. How can you lose sleep for a growing son that have his girlfriend? You chose to let them live in your house, and now you said you have sleepless night. You can have sleepless night for a young kid that's under 18, but not for a grown 27-year-old man. Those people are insane." And Brendan have a habit of throwing Julia under the bus, and it's so unfair how he does it. Like, it's both of your mistake, not Julia Julia's fault. I don't know why as a woman she doesn't want to protect herself. Brendan, it was your fault as well. You both wanted that baby because both of you chose not to use birth control. It turned out when Julia took the pregnancy test that she was not pregnant. Before they told the parents, the mother was freaking out that she was having a heart attack because can you imagine why would she have a heart attack for her growing son producing a baby? And then when they told her that it was negative, she was relieved. She was like happy. You should see the smile on their face. Those people are growing up and I don't know why their parents are so much in their relationship. Again, Brendan and Julia should move out, get their own place, and keep their business to themselves instead of telling their parents about their issues or what they are going through. And yes, so let's talk about Ryan and Stephanie. Ryan and Stephanie's relationship is very rocky because Stephanie is insane. Like I said in my previous video that I made of the two, she is a narcissist. And in this episode, Stephanie was running after Ryan from their hotel and asking Ryan, "Oh, Ryan, I need you to sit down." It's like a mother talking to a son. It's really unfortunate how she treated him. And Ryan is running away saying that, "Oh, you're trying to embarrass me." And Stephanie's running after him. "Oh, are you afraid of the truth?" What truth? Accusing Ryan of cheating on her because Ryan didn't wear condoms while they had intimacy. She accused Ryan of taking the condoms that she brought from the US so that they can be intimate. She said that Ryan put it in without the condoms and Ryan lied about it, saying that he wear it. You can know the difference between when a man wear condoms or not, Stephanie. I'm sure you were into it as well. So don't say or try to blame him when the camera is there. You just try to embarrass him like he says. It's really bad that you are doing that to him. And Ryan says that his cab is waiting, so he was leaving. "Oh, you got your cab wait with whose money?" See what I'm saying? She always throwing out the fact that she is giving Ryan money. Every penny that Ryan have, it's from her. Only a narcissist, again, would do such a thing. She is trying so hard to put an act for the camera so that she can look good, dramatic, and all that. It's not a real relationship. It's a controlling relationship. She used Ryan to be on TLC so that she can be on TV. That's all. And she is using the fact that Ryan wants to go to America. She is saying that, "Oh, Ryan keeps saying that, oh, I want to go to Michigan to be with you." But she's like, "Oh, now he screwed it up. He's never gonna go over there. Or he's never gonna go to America because she's not going to bring him." And she accused Ryan of stealing her ring. Why would she jump to that conclusion that Ryan stole her ring? He even ran from the hotel. He left everything that Stephanie brought him from America. But Stephanie have only one thing in mind, that Ryan stole his ring, because she think that the ring cost a lot of money. He could probably sell it, or he's trying to hurt her because it was her mother's ring. That to me, she is stereotyping. If he was a typical white male, she would never accuse him of that. She is doing that because she have something in her mind. And then while she kept looking, she finally find her ring. And what she did next, she called Ryan's cousin Harris. She pretend like Harris called her, but I'm sure she rang Harris before Harris returned her call. Why would you call Harris? And I'm sure it's because she probably want Harris. She want to have it with Harris again. And Ryan says that Stephanie's having issue trusting. I believe so, because Stephanie's the one that cheat on Ryan. Stephanie's the one that sleep with Ryan's cousin. She didn't just sleep with a random guy. She chose her boyfriend relative to sleep with. Only someone that is immoral that will do that. And that is Stephanie. A cheater always going to accuse someone of cheating on them because they know that is their habit, because they know that is what they do for a living. So basically she is just throwing it in Ryan's face that Ryan cheat. But you never catch him cheating, Stephanie. All this cheating, it's you that he's having that in your mind. But there's evidence that you have cheated on him. Again, Stephanie is a psychopath. She doesn't deserve love. That's why she go after younger men so she could shame them, embarrass them, and control them. If he was a young man from America, you think she would behave like that? She know for sure if she behaved like that, they would like, you know what? Go and have a seat, old woman. And they would leave her in a beat. She would probably be the one begging them. So that's why she go in a poor country. She go and get a poor guy that she can control, use, and abuse. That is abuse to me because she treat him like a child and also mistreat him. It's unfortunate that Ryan have to put up with that, and I hope that Ryan family can have a talk with him saying that this is not a healthy relationship. A relationship with a woman that's like twice your age, older than your mother. She is trying you so hard and also accusing you of bad things even on TV, accusing him of stealing. Ryan calls Stephanie crazy. I don't blame him for calling Stephanie crazy because she is crazy. She is insane. She is nuts. So she have a child mind, like a brain of a child. She doesn't know how to handle situation. So when she's in distress or she's having issue as an adult, what you would say, you would sit down and figure it out of what is going on. But instead, she's calling people because she doesn't know. She doesn't have the brain of an adult to know what to do. She's calling her psychic. She's calling Harris because she is not happy, because she is feeling like, oh, I can't handle this. Oh, what is going on? And only a baby behave like that. If Stephanie was behaving like a normal adult, if she knows Ryan did that, like not putting the condom on, she would like, okay, step back and like talk to Ryan as an adult. Say, why did you do that? Explain to me. She won't freak out like running after him. And she waited till the morning. Like, why would she do that? Only a baby would do such things. And Stephanie, again, that's why she can't find him in her age, because she is behaving like a young teenager who doesn't know anything about life, like a 14-year-old. And so I hope she grow up. She can find him in her age, have a normal relationship instead of going around dating young men to make them feel stupid about themselves. Ryan said that Stephanie doesn't love him because the way she treat him, the way she behave. And I agreed that the way Stephanie treat Ryan, it's not a love, caring relationship. It's more of a controlled relationship. And Ryan is finally seeing it and he wants out. So Stephanie went and called Ryan again. I don't know why she keep calling him when she is the one harassing him and bullying him. So Stephanie says, oh, I have bunch of watches, bunch of slippers, everything there. And Ryan says he doesn't care. He doesn't want them. Stephanie can keep them. Oh, okay. You can keep blaming Stephanie again. She is bribing him like, oh, you know, I have everything. And so, oh, if you don't come back, oh, you're not gonna get them. It's like, I'm your mother. I'm telling you to come back. But she want Ryan. I guess there's something special about Ryan that she wants. She wants to control him. She wants what's done below. But at the same time, she have to mistreat him. When you love someone, you don't treat them that way. You don't talk to them that way, Stephanie. Even though you're older, that doesn't mean that you can control him. You're not his mother. Even his mother would not talk to him the way you talk to him. If I was his mother and I seen an older woman talking to my son that way, that would not go well. Stephanie, I hope you meant when you say you are done with Ryan. I hope you're done with him for real, because you are not fit to be with him. You are not a good person. And I hope that you both leave each other alone and find peace and happiness with other people. So let's talk about Natalie and Mike relationship. And in this episode, Mike started by telling Natalie, we don't fit together. I don't think you love me. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think we should get married. It's really sad to see Natalie's face when Mike is talking to her like that. And Mike's face was very serious when he was telling Natalie that. So at this point, Natalie is very afraid that there would be no marriage. Mike kept telling Natalie, oh, I'm not ready to marry you at all. Well, if you're not ready to marry her, don't waste her time. Send her back to Ukraine and don't look back. Because I remember before the 90 days, I didn't think those two would apply for the K1 visa because the way they were behaving and the way they were acting, like they were very dramatic and you could see there was no love. But you gave her the K1 visa, you said you would marry her, and now you keep telling her you're not going to marry her, you don't love her, you're not in love with her, and what is going on? Send her back to Ukraine. And it seems like Natalie have trust issue. She doesn't trust Mike. She think that Mike probably slept with his friend girlfriend, and so she is calling Mike out. She is not ready to forgive Mike because she think that Mike cheated on her. You don't see him cheated on you. You said that you heard a woman says that she was going to the washroom, but that doesn't mean that he was cheating. As a 35-year-old woman, you shouldn't be that insecure. When you're that insecure, that is a problem. And Natalie is saying that she thought the counselor would help in fixing her and Mike's problem, but it seems like it only get worse. And Natalie, if you think that Mike was cheating on you when you were in Ukraine, why would you come to America to marry him? If you don't trust him, you have doubt about him, why would you take the K1 visa? You still go ahead taking his K1 visa to come and marry him. Why? You don't marry a man that you don't trust. You don't leave your country and go to another country, coming to marry a man that you have doubt that cheated on you and that you don't trust. So now I am for sure you are not really there for Mike. You are there for the green card. Even though you're complaining that you have issue, like you don't trust him and all that. No, you there for the green card. If I don't trust someone, I would not marry them. But you come from out of nowhere, come to America to marry a guy that you don't trust and that you guys don't love each other. You still want to get married and you already have a failed marriage. Somebody who is 35-year-old who have a failed marriage before, they know better. Both her and Mike, they know better. If you have a failed marriage and then you're going to have another failed marriage, no, I don't believe in that relationship. I don't believe they are serious about each other. I don't know why they choose to getting married. But I know Natalie is getting the benefit of having her green card. And Mike probably, I don't know if you want fame or the money that TLC is paying them. Natalie and Mike took a trip to the beach where they tried to communicate their differences. And Natalie asked Mike if she is engaged. And Mike said no, because if he say yes, that means he is lying to her. And Natalie went and says, oh, you know, it was her fault that she gave Mike back the ring when they were in before the 90 days, and now she regretted that. But Natalie, you just said that you don't trust him. If you don't trust him, why you care about him giving you the wedding ring? You mean you care that he may not marry you, where you would have to go back to the Ukraine and have to be shamed by your family, your friends, and have to go back to square one. That's what you scared of. You're not scared of that he doesn't want to marry because you don't love him and he doesn't love you. So you worry about being engaged when you just said you don't trust him. You have doubt that he cheated on you and you still want to marry him. Now Natalie is making Mike feel real bad about himself, telling Mike that, well, if you're not ready, why you give me the K1 visa? Why you bring me to your house, making me cook for you, clean for you, making love to you while you are not ready to marry me? And Mike was like, oh, you don't have to do all that. You don't have to do none of that. I'm not telling you to do anything for me. Oh, yes, Mike. She come to your house. She do everything. That's what I was saying before. Why you give her the K1 visa? And Natalie, why you accept the K1 visa if you think that he cheated on you and if you have doubt about marry him? So it's your fault. It's both of your fault. Both of you are playing the games. Both of you are playing victims. And I don't feel sorry for none of you. Natalie feel like she have been used, manipulated by Mark. I feel like they both use each other. Like I said, they both manipulated each other when they know they don't belong together or love each other. At this point, Natalie is feeling miserable and insecure that she may not get married and she may go back to the Ukraine to be shamed by her family. Sometimes it's better being shamed than to have another failed marriage on your record, Natalie. I know you want the green card, but it's better you go back and then swallow your pride and then pick up what's left than getting married. But anyway, just get the green card. I think it's best, like, put pressure on him so that he marry you. Get the green card. What's the point of going to a country where you may not have job, no security, no career, nothing? So it's better you get the green card and leave him after.